Hi, Captain Steve for BoatTest.com, and today I'm on the newest boat from CL Yachts in the B series, the CLB65. I have to ask the question, could this be the ultimate owner-operator's yacht? Well, let's find out as I do a full sea trial and performance evaluation from the owner-operator's perspective.
There is a detail about large motor yacht ownership which is rarely talked about, and that is just how large a boat an owner-operator can actually get insurance for. This is something buyers moving up rarely think about. Getting insurance for large motor yachts depends on the experience of the operator. If you're an old salt and have been boating all your life, you may be able to get insurance on yachts up to 79 feet. But many buyers coming out of a 40 or 50 foot boat can only get insured for up to 65 feet by several insurance carriers. Now you know why this boat is 65 feet long. As an owner-operator, you're not only the captain, you're also the chief engineer. So let's take a look at the engine room. The engine room is accessed from this watertight door in the yacht's massive transom.
Now, this is an owner-operator's boat, so if the owner doesn't want to do a lot of the dirty work, then a crew of one is pretty much all you need. So that's why we have a single berth for the crew, 24-inch TV, it's a drop-down desk. Head is over to the starboard side. Headroom in this compartment is 6 feet 2 inches. Of course, we also have access to the engine room. Roomy, neat, and orderly. Those are the words I would use to describe this engine room.
And that is particularly important for an owner-operator. At 19 feet 10 inches, that's almost 20 feet. This is the largest engine room in class. The reason is that the CLB65 is a cut-down version of the CLB72. That's why this boat looks and is so massive. A 20-foot beam is the width you'd expect to find on a 90-footer. Other 65s have from 2 to 3 feet less beam. Moreover, her Volvo Penta diesel engines are in line 6s, not much wider than V8s. The combination of greater beam and a narrow engine footprint allows plenty of room to easily get outboard of the engines to check on equipment there. The easier it is to get around down here, the more pleasurable it is to be checking all of the systems on a daily basis. Frankly, for many owners, it's one of the fun aspects of owning a motor yacht like this.
There's standing headroom, for me anyway, at 5 feet 10 inches, 3 feet 2 inches between the narrowest parts, which are between the fuel filters. Main engines, Volvo Penta IPS 1050s. They're connected to the pods, which are located well aft by jack shafts.
The reason for the jack shafts is to get the weight of the 800 horsepower engines forward to better balance the boat. Over to the port hand side, we have the air conditioning condensers, one for each of the 6 zones on this boat. Notice that they're easy to get to for cleaning and maintenance. To the starboard side, we see 3 more condensers for the main salon and crew quarters.
Electrical system is fully forward, along with the batteries, which are conveniently located in service boxes and labeled properly.
This location is designed for the owner-operator. I've seen many that are outboard or under equipment.
There's an emergency door leading to the master stateroom, allowing emergency egress from the master. And then over to the port hand side, 20 kilowatt generator. Right at the entrance, there's a ladder and a hatch leading to the aft deck.
This is an important safety feature you rarely see in a boat this large and comes in handy in a following sea or bad weather. It's one of 3 exits from this engine room, which is unusual. I love this engine room because I can get to all of the sea strainers to check them and get to through-hull fittings for quick shutoff. Note that you don't see any fuel tank sight gauges on the forward bulkhead, and that's because all of the tanks on the CLB65 are fiberglassed into the bottom of the boat. The fuel, freshwater, gray water, and black water tanks are all on the bottom under the floors. This is a best practice that many motor yacht builders don't follow because it's expensive. Fiberglass tanks are the best ones to have, and by putting them in the bottom, it lowers the boat's center of gravity and gives it a double bottom where the tanks are. Let's talk more about construction. All decks and bulkheads in this boat are fiberglass, not plywood like on most motor yachts. All bulkheads and cabinet substructures are separated from the hull by a gap to prevent the transmission of vibration. CL calls this floating framework. Basically, the boat's a monocoque design like a commercial airliner. All CL builds are RENA certified, meaning they meet the build and safety standards of this independent Italian yacht rating agency. One final thing, Virtually all large boat builders put on a skin coat of vinyl ester resin to stop blistering. But that's it. CL uses 100% vinyl ester resin on all fiberglass parts, including the hull, deck, and superstructure. Why? Because it's stronger, does not absorb water, has better resistance to chemicals, and better heat resistance, which also means resistance to fire. Now let's visit the helm.
The helm features two large multifunction displays on an upper panel, compass in line with the helm, which is mounted to the left side of the console. Now what that means is that if somebody's going to be coming in as an observer, the operator has to get out, let the observer in, and then come back into position.
The advantage of having it here is that the captain is farther away from the support mullion to the right, which gives better visibility on the giveaway side of the boat. If the wheel was all the way to the right, the support would be much more in the captain's face. It also reduces the parallax view when docking port side too.
Bow thruster just to the left of that. Digital engine controls, the IPS joystick. Another item that I would like to see moved over to the left, so when we're backing into a slip, I could be standing next to the console and facing aft. With it located where it is, I do have a nice view of the starboard side as I'm coming in starboard side too. Steering wheel is mounted vertically, VHF over to the side, and tucked in a little bit out of the way also, C-zone control panel. The helm seat is a double wide STID seat, 38 inches. It's fully adjustable up and down, fore and aft. It reclines, has flip armrests, flip footrests. I do like to see the remote control for the forward displays mounted on an armrest rather than on the panel where it doesn't make sense to me. Good job there. Additionally, there are joystick control stations to both port and starboard. To both quarters, heavy-duty cleats with chafing gear just outside.
We have one more helm station up in the flybridge. Let's take a look.
The helm console is to the starboard side. The helm itself is in the center of the console, which is to the left side of the double-wide helm seat. There are two large Garmin displays, compass directly in line with the helm. To the right side, the digital throttle, IPS joystick, and the VHF. Happy to see that there's a remote control for the forward displays on the armrest. This is a STID helm seat, double wide and fully adjustable. Ground tackle consists of a Maxwell windlass, freshwater washdown, chain stopper, swivel, 110-pound claw anchor that's 50 kilograms, leading to an anchor roller that is recessed into the foredeck, heavy-duty cleats to both sides, along with chafing gear, foot control switches just behind and to starboard.
Now, there are several things I like about this layout. First, the access hatch to the chain locker is big. This means that virtually anyone can get down in there to untangle the chain if need be. Second is the recessed runway that will keep the mud and dirty water from flowing all over the deck during washdown. The CL Yachts CLB65 has a length overall of 64 feet 6 inches, a beam of 19 feet 10 inches, and a draft of 4 feet 9 inches. With an empty weight of 82,697 pounds, 45% fuel, and 4 people on board, we had an estimated test weight of 86,782 pounds. With twin 800 horsepower Volvo IPS 1050 engines run up to 2,300 RPM, our speed topped out at an average of 24.4 knots. There's no real best cruise as the range increases fairly linearly as power is reduced, but most will probably run her at 80% load or 2,000 RPM. That produced an average speed of 19.7 knots and a fuel burn of 57.5 gallons per hour, resulting in a range of 262 nautical miles. If distance is the goal, then drop her down to 1,000 RPM and 9 knots, where the 9.7 gallon per hour fuel burn translates into 0.9 nautical miles per gallon and a range of 706.4 nautical miles. All while still holding back a 10% reserve of the boat's 850 gallon total fuel capacity. During our performance runs, we measured a time to plane of 11.5 seconds and reached 20 miles per hour in an average 8.3 seconds. Of course, you could go faster with larger engines, but what is the point of that? No one goes 30 knots for more than a few minutes, and in choppy conditions, who would want to? I think the twin 800 horsepower engines are an excellent and very reasonable selection.
Ease of maintenance, ease of use, simplistic handling, all of those ingredients are met right here. This is the most comfortable boat to be on.
One of the big reasons for that is her 19-foot 10-inch beam and her dry weight of 83,000 pounds, which is from 5,000 to 20,000 pounds heavier than other boats in class. Of course, that makes her harder to push, so she's not going to be a speed demon. If that's what you want, Pick one of those motor yachts that has 3-foot less beam and twin 1,000 to 1,200 horsepower engines, and be prepared to pay the fuel bill and have more of a rolly boat.
Steering it, I mean, it's so light. Look at this, just a little finger, just a touch, gets that wheel moving, and it's so responsive to the helm. Surprisingly so. Usually there's a lot more of a lag time with an IPS boat and a wide turning radius. I don't find that with this one. Handles more like, I want to say, a larger sport boat. So it's very comfortable. Around the dock, even more so. It's a bow thruster, which is a nice thing to have with IPS because sometimes you just want to move the bow. You don't want to rotate the whole boat. So I like having a bow thruster with IPS, but the combination of the two, it's spot on. This is a really nice boat to handle. Well, she's got the strength of build that CL Yachts is so well known for, and sea kindly handling characteristics. She's also a nice boat to be on board, but that's another video. Be sure to look for it. For now, this is my full sea trial and performance evaluation of the CLB65 from CL Yachts. For BoatTest.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.